A mysterious Viking map discovered in a Norwegian monastery has sparked a modern treasure hunt in the Arctic. This ancient parchment, filled with runic symbols and hidden markers, might lead to one of history's greatest undiscovered treasures. In the quiet halls of an ancient Norwegian monastery, historians made an amazing find in 2022. Behind a loose stone in the monastery's library wall, they discovered a weathered parchment rolled inside a bronze cylinder. The document, dated to around 950 AD, was written in a mix of Norse runes and early medieval script. What made this find extra special was its remarkable condition. The dry, cool air in the wall had kept it safe for over 1,000 years. The parchment showed what looked like a detailed map, with strange symbols and notes in the margins. At first, the researchers thought it was just another church record, but when they noticed coordinates pointing to the Arctic Circle and references to great wealth, they knew they had something much more exciting on their hands. The discovery sent waves through the archaeological community, as it might be the first solid evidence of a legendary Viking treasure. When scholars first looked at the map's runes, they faced quite a puzzle. Vikings didn't just write their directions simply. They mixed regular runes with special symbols that only made sense if you knew their sailing methods. The breakthrough came when researchers noticed patterns matching the positions of the sun and stars. Vikings used a clever trick called a sunstone to navigate on cloudy days, and these symbols showed exactly how they did it. The map had little drawings of landmarks along the coast, matched with special marks that told sailors when to turn based on the sun's position. But the real genius was in the hidden code. Certain runes changed their meaning depending on the season. A symbol that meant sail east in summer would mean something completely different in winter. It's like the Vikings created their own secret GPS system, but instead of satellites, they used nature's own signs. The legend of Thor's treasure has been passed down through generations of Norse storytellers. According to ancient sagas, a massive collection of gold, silver, and sacred objects was gathered by Viking raiders during their most successful years. The story tells of a powerful Viking chief who dedicated his greatest treasures to Thor, hiding them far in the northern seas. Medieval records mention this treasure several times, describing golden cups, jeweled weapons, and even Thor's own ceremonial hammer. The newly discovered map contains several references that match these old stories perfectly. It shows a route to a remote Arctic location, marked with Thor's hammer symbol and the Norse word for offering. What's really exciting is that the map's landmarks match real places we can still find today. Several Viking historians now believe this could be the first real clue to finding this legendary treasure, which could be worth millions in today's money. The Vikings were masters at sailing through the dangerous Arctic waters, using some amazingly smart methods to stay on course. They created special sailing routes that followed the coastlines where possible, using mountains, cliffs, and even patterns in the waves as markers. These sailors understood ocean currents in a way that would impress modern scientists. They knew exactly when certain passages would be ice-free and how to spot safe paths through the floating ice. The Vikings also used clever tools like the sunstone, a crystal that could find the sun's position even on cloudy days. They taught their children to read the clouds, winds, and even the behavior of seabirds to predict weather changes. Their ships were perfectly designed for these waters too, with shallow bottoms that could slide over ice and strong hulls that could handle the crushing pressure of pack ice. These routes weren't just for exploration. They were busy highways for trading valuable goods like walrus ivory, furs, and even polar bears. The Vikings were incredibly smart about using nature's signs to find their way around. They didn't just look at obvious landmarks like mountains and fjords. They created a whole system based on both land and sky markers. They would line up certain mountain peaks with star positions at specific times of year, creating natural compass points. The Vikings also paid close attention to things we might overlook, like the way seabirds flew or how waves broke around certain rocks. They even used the colors of the sky and the patterns of clouds to figure out their position. On the newly discovered map, these markers are shown as special symbols next to drawings of coastlines. Each symbol tells sailors exactly what to look for, whether it's a distinctive rock formation, a cluster of islands, or even the direction of prevailing winds. The map leads to a mysterious island somewhere in the Arctic Circle, and the clues are fascinating. The drawings show a horseshoe-shaped bay facing north, surrounded by 3 distinctive peaks. Modern satellite images have spotted several locations that match this description, but one stands out: a remote island off Greenland's eastern coast. The map mentions a unique landmark, a rock formation shaped like Thor's hammer that catches the midnight sun during summer solstice. What's really interesting is that the Vikings measured distances using day sails, and when we convert these measurements to modern units, they match perfectly with this location. The island also sits along a known Viking trading route, making it a logical place to hide valuable treasure. Recent sonar scans have revealed unusual formations under the water near the bay, which could be signs of ancient human activity. Modern technology has shown just how accurate those Viking map makers really were. When researchers overlaid satellite images onto the ancient map, they were amazed by the match. The coastlines, island shapes, and distances lined up with surprising precision. Scientists used special computer programs to analyze the map's scale, comparing the Vikings' measurements with today's GPS coordinates. The results showed the Vikings were off by only 2 to 3% on average. Pretty impressive for people working with basic tools over 1,000 years ago. Drones have now photographed many of the landmarks mentioned in the map, confirming that distinctive rock formations and coastal features are exactly where the Vikings said they'd be. Even more exciting, satellite scans have revealed hidden fjords and underwater channels that match the map's secret markers. The search for this Viking treasure isn't just a race against other explorers, it's a race against our changing climate. As Arctic ice melts, it's revealing new areas for exploration, but it's also threatening ancient sites. Rising sea levels are eroding coastlines, changing the landmarks Vikings used as guides. Some of the stone markers mentioned in the map might already be underwater. Teams are using advanced radar and sonar equipment to scan these areas quickly before they change forever. The warming temperatures are also making the ground less stable. What was frozen permafrost for centuries is now turning into unstable mud. This means any artifacts buried in the ground could be damaged or lost. The good news is that modern technology lets us map these areas faster than ever before, and researchers are working hard to document everything they find before it's too late. Not everyone agrees about what this Viking map really means. Some experts think it's a treasure map, pointing to Thor's lost hoard, while others see it differently. A team from Copenhagen University suggests it's actually a map of sacred sites where Vikings performed religious ceremonies. They point to special symbols that match known ritual locations. Another group believes it's a practical trading guide, showing safe harbors and good fishing spots. The most surprising theory comes from climate historians who think the map tracks ancient weather patterns and ice movements. They've found that some symbols match perfectly with seasonal changes in Arctic waters. What makes this debate so interesting is that each theory is backed by solid evidence. The Vikings were smart enough to create a map that served multiple purposes. This map has completely changed how we view Viking exploration and their abilities. Far from being just raiders, they were master map makers who could create detailed guides that stayed accurate for over 1,000 years. The map proves they had deep knowledge of astronomy, geography, and mathematics, skills we used to think came much later in history. Their system of marking locations using natural features was so good that modern sailors can still use these same reference points today. The really exciting part is how they combined practical sailing directions with astronomical observations in a single document. It shows they had a complete navigation system that worked in all weather conditions. This discovery has historians rewriting textbooks about medieval seafaring and map-making. Thanks for joining us on this incredible Viking journey through history. The hunt for Thor's treasure continues, and who knows what other secrets await discovery. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and share with your fellow history lovers.